Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
I don't even have to say clerk call the roll anymore. She just goes right into it there. Go right ahead.
Are you here?
I'm ready.
Okay. Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Royce C. Brooks, Commissioner, Precinct 1.
Present.
Marty Van Ravensway, Commissioner, Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner, Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner, Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Our invocation this morning will be given by our own Dave Barrett from the Sheriff's Office. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Shall we pray? Lord, at this time of year, we commemorate the story of that birth so long ago. We remember shining stars, angel choirs, shepherds bowing, and wise men bringing gifts. We tell the stories, sing the songs, and so often miss the greatest messages. The truth that no matter how dark things may seem, there is a light if we will be hopeful enough to look and humble enough to follow. The fact that no matter how disheartening things may seem, there is music of the Spirit that will raise us up if we but dare to listen beyond the chaotic melody of the world. The encouraging hope that there is someone looking over us who loves us and cares about what we are going through. The comfort that no matter who we are, poor and needy or healthy, wealthy, and wise, before you, we all stand on level ground, equally loved and wanted. I pray for all our people, from the governmental bench to the corporate tower, from the workplace to the unemployment line and welfare office, that the peace, hope, and love that the season was meant to bring will come alive in all our hearts and lives. And please hasten the day that your goodwill will reign among men. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Practice this week.
Commissioner Brooks, I believe you have an introduction.
Thank you, Your Honor, and good morning to each and every one of you. As you know, it has become a tradition, a Tarrant County tradition, that we begin the Christmas season with a presentation by the O.D. Wyatt Singing Chaparral Choir. We will do so again this morning. Their longtime director, Maestro Jewel Kelly, is in the Holy Land and will not be back until sometime this evening. However, her choir is here in full form and in full voice. This morning, however, I'd like to do something a little differently. One of our colleagues is leaving this court after 20 years of phenomenal service to the people of Tarrant County. Now, it's my idea, my philosophy, that when one gives service from the heart with compassion, one should be thanked. I feel, however, like the little drummer boy this morning. I have no gift to give except this magnificent choir. So, as a way of saying thank you to Marty Van Ravensway for many years of service to the people of Tarrant County, we dedicate this morning's performance.
Thank you.
And I ask that each one of you rise to your feet and help us to appreciate Marty. Y'all have to know that I took my life into my hands by doing that, because she said, don't do anything, just let me go away. But we cannot do that. Family does not do that. So, the O.D. Wyatt Singing Chaparral Choir.
Thank you so much. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. My name is Brian Stratton. I'm sort of the second in command to Her Royal Highness. As Commissioner Brooks stated, she is in the Holy Land, and if you have a bucket list, this was on hers. And she is now either on her way back or will be tomorrow. As she had said before she left, Jewel, when you go there, just lean up against the Wailing Wall for me, please. Just lean and remember me, and everything will be fine. I want to offer this, and we're just going to sing for you. She celebrates this year her 50th year of teaching, and it has been... Now, as a fundraiser, we're going to try a different thing here. She says this is her last year. We're taking bets. We're going to raise a whole lot of money on whether or not she goes out. But we'll send to you, they're going to be honoring her at the annual Fort Worth Gospel Fest in February. And we usually do it at a school, but it looks like we may end up in Will Rogers because there's just so many people who want to be there, and she's going to conduct the festival chorus there. It's going to be wild. So we'll send the information to you. Thank you so much again. The choir is going to continue with Carol of the Bells.
Hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, go cares away. Christmas is here, go, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. All happy, all raising a sound, all in the town, telling a tale. Giving the ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here, ding 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 dong, ding 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 dong, ding dong, ding ding dong. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. All happy, all raising a sound, all in the town, telling a tale. Giving the ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ding ding dong, ding ding dong, ding dong, ding ding dong. The Virgin Mary had a baby boy. The Virgin Mary had a baby boy. The Virgin Mary had a baby boy. And they say that his name was Jesus. He comes from the glory. He comes from the glorious kingdom. He comes from the glory. He comes from the glorious kingdom. Oh, yes, believers. Oh, yes, believers. He comes from the glory. He comes from the glorious kingdom. The angels sang when the baby born. The angels sang when the baby born. The angels sang when the baby born. And they proclaim the Savior Jesus. He comes from the glory. He comes from the glorious kingdom. He comes from the glory. He comes from the glorious kingdom. Oh, yes, believers. Oh, yes, believers. He comes from the glory. He comes from the glorious kingdom. The wise men saw that the baby born. The wise men saw that the baby born. The wise men saw that the baby born. And they said that his name was Jesus. He comes from the glory. He comes from the glorious kingdom. He comes from the glory. He comes from the glorious kingdom. Oh, yes, believers. Oh, yes, believers.
children are getting bigger. Last year, we had about the same number, and they barely made it in the little circle here. And at this particular number, they have to do a little move. So when they all squat, I get, So if you hear moans and groans, support public and physical education in the school system. Thank you very much. Y'all need some? Everybody bend your knees? Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. Boom. Ready?
Starlights, shine bright. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town. Starlights, shine bright. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town. Innkeeper, better get ready. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town.
Innkeeper, better get ready.
Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town.
Shepherd, shepherd.
Listen to the angels. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town.
Shepherd, shepherd.
Listen to the angels. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town. Mary, Mary, what you gonna name him? Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town. Mary, Mary, what you gonna name him? Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town. Hush, hush, don't wake the baby. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town. Hush, hush, don't wake the baby. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town. Glory, 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 hallelujah. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem town. Glory, 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 hallelujah. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem, coming to Bethlehem. Everybody's coming to Bethlehem, coming to Bethlehem, Bethlehem town.
Y'all okay? Thank you so much. We'd like to end with a number that most of you are very familiar with. And in such times as we've heard, there's so many things going on. And sometimes if we just listen to the simplicity of what this season is all about, we'd be in a lot better shape. But since I'm not a minister, and I don't plan to be a minister, I got enough ministering to do with this. We would like to sing for you a song that's very dear to us. It's called the Angel Song. The angels sang, hallelujah, glory, hallelujah. Before we leave, thank you for how many years, Commissioner Brooks?
At least 15.
This has been, for us, 15 years. We have alumni members here who've come back and sing with us. We have alumni here that work here from our choir, and so many of you we know, and we just appreciate your support of O.D. Wyatt. So often, our schools, especially in the inner cities, are forgotten, but there are wonderful things, not just in Wyatt, but in every school in this district. And sometimes it's hard. It's difficult to get that message across. You know, it's easy to say, oh, they had a shooting at the school or somebody had drugs here. But look at the amount of success as compared to the amount of distress. I think we miss that because we're drawn to it. So we want to thank you for investing in O.D. Wyatt and for all of the schools that you invest in. This is our passion, my passion. This is our love. And for 50 years, it's been Jewel Kelly's love. And this is what we look forward to. I said, the bus better get here. We're going downtown. So thank you. Thank you for the love you've shared with us, for your gifts of support, and just for being here for us. These kids need you, and we definitely love and appreciate you. Thank you so much.
The angels sing hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Jesus Christ is born. The angels sing hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Peace on earth, goodwill towards men. Jesus Christ is born. The angels sing hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Peace on earth, goodwill towards men. Jesus Christ is born. The
Angels sing hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Goodwill toward Jesus Christ is born. Jesus Christ. Everybody, here we go. The angels sing hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Peace on earth. Peace. Goodwill towards men. Jesus Christ. One more time. Sing it so Miss Kelly can hear you in Israel. Hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. And peace on earth, goodwill towards men. Jesus Christ. The angels sang. Christ is born. Angels sing. Glory, Christ is born. Jesus Christ is born. Jesus Christ is born. One more time. Jesus is born. They're young this year. They're very new. About 80% of our choir is underclassmen. So we only have like about four or five seniors. So we're always renewing and rebuilding. Thank you again to the Commissioners Court and to Roy Brooks, thank you. You mean so much to us, and bless you for all that you do. And you know that anytime you call, we will be here, whether it be I or Madam Kelly. She's not going to miss this. She'll be back next year. Thank you, everyone, for your kindness, and have a wonderful Merry Christmas.
Thank you again. This is always the highlight of our holiday season, so we appreciate very much y'all coming out.
Really is a great way to start Christmas.
Commissioner Brooks, I could not ask for anything nicer as an acknowledgement of my leaving. Thank you so very much. Just really, really sweet of you.
We love you, Marty.
I love everybody here. I'm going to miss you guys.
And we will close today's court in honor of Marty and her 20 years of service to all the citizens of Tarrant County. Next, we have on the agenda a certificate of appreciation to John White. John, come on forward, and I'll read this into the record. Presented to John White in appreciation for your dedication and leadership and service to the community as a member of the Tarrant County Sheriff's Department Civil Service Commission from 2001 to 2010. Our sincere thanks accompany this expression of recognition and gratitude. I'll move that we receive and file.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're going to do it the old-fashioned way.
9 years ago, when I was appointed, the sheriff told me that I was being. Oh, there you are. He was appointing me to this position as chairman, judge of the Sheriff Civil Service Commission, and I asked, well, what are the responsibilities and what am I paid? And he said, well, you get 2 hamburgers on Employee Appreciation Day. So for those of you who've seen me on Appreciation Day getting 2 hamburgers, that's why. But in all seriousness, I'm very thrilled and humbled with regard to this appreciation plaque. The Sheriff Civil Service Commission is sort of the last level of due process for the sheriff's employees who have run into disciplinary actions. And I want to tell you that I've been all over the state practicing law and in courts from Justice of the Peace Courts to the Court of Appeals, and there's no court that has the seriousness and professionalism that the attorneys and the parties have with regard to this court. And so, not wanting to prolong the day, this is also my birthday month, so I look at any celebration that anyone gives that I'm a beneficiary of it. And again, Commissioner, thank you for your 20 years, and all of you, and Judge Commissioner Ficus, we're both on the Colleyville Lions Club members, and so I see him every Friday morning at about 6:45. But thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Next, Commissioner Johnson, I believe you have a resolution.
Yes, I do, Your Honor, and here today is Dr. Scott Ransom with the osteopathic hospital and our school. And also, I think you have Greg up with you, but do you have to bring anyone else?
Nope.
All right, well, first, let me make the motion that we pass this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second in support of a resolution of support for the Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine and the addition of an allopathic medical school at the UNT Health Science Center. Any discussion?
No.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And Dr. Ransom, if you'd like to make some comments to the court.
Well, first, I'd like to thank the Commissioners Court for their support in this really incredible opportunity for our entire community of Fort Worth and Tarrant County and really across the entire state of Texas. Adding an MD degree program to our medical school and all the other programs at the UNT Health Science Center is an incredible privilege and incredible opportunity for the entire campus. And as an osteopathic physician, the opportunity to have an MD and a DO and a physical therapy program and a physician assistant study program and a public health school and all the graduate school and all the other things we have on our campus is a great opportunity to build the teams, the healthcare teams of the future to support all of our healthcare needs across this community. This is going to create hundreds of jobs, high-paying jobs. This is going to create about a $1.8 billion financial impact over the first 10 years, from today to 10 years from now, just for the educational impact that this is going to have in this community. And over the next 10 years, we're going to ultimately have between a $1 to $2 billion economic impact on this community every year. This is an incredible opportunity. And more importantly, this is going to create the doctors that we need to care for our very rapidly growing population. We're already very, very short of the number of doctors in Texas, and Texas has the good fortune of growing fast, but the bad fortune of growing fast. We need to support that growth with the healthcare providers we need for all of us. So thank you very much for all of the support you've had with this, but also all of the other things you've done over the past many, many years to support the Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine and the entire UNT Health Science Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Lynn, does the passage of this resolution add this item to our legislative agenda?
Yes, it does, and I know that we've got, it'll be a formal part of our resolution, part of our legislative agenda.
Yes, it will.
All right.
At this time, it's my honor to recognize our employees. This is we try to do this, we do it every month, and we thought that today would be the appropriate day given the choir and everything else that was going on. So as usual, I will announce the employee's name, the department, by your categories, and again, if it kind of sounds like your name, be sure and stand up. Some are a little bit more challenging than others. So as we go through this, I will we'll recognize, and then at the end of a particular category, we'll recognize everyone with a hand of applause. Our 5-year employees, our first is Ron Alston, County Clerk's Office. There's Ron. Samuel Bauman from the Sheriff Warrants. Sandra Burnt from Juvenile Services. Michael Blanford, Juvenile Services. Lindell Cast, Precinct 1 Maintenance. Janice Chambers, County Clerk. No. Raising the hand doesn't count, Janice. No. Keep standing. See, she's new at this. The 5 years, they don't. The 10s, and they understand. We got to work on this. Tiffany Eubanks, the Tax Office. Raquel Harmon, Sheriff Confinement. Joe Hocutt, 323rd District Court. Pamela Inope. Well, I was close. Sheriff Confinement. Irma Jimenez, District Clerk. Brenda Ladd, County Clerk. Lorenzo Macias, Sheriff Confinement. Sonia McCormick, Domestic Relations. Ashley McGowan, County Clerk. Nicole Nichols, District Attorney's Office. Samuel Parham, District Attorney's Office. Alex Ramsey, Sheriff Courts. Amy Snyder, Constable, Precinct 1. Ann Siegler, Tax Office. That's close. The second time. Susan Spencer, Administrator's Office. Elizabeth Wall, the Tax Office. Jared White, Facilities Management. These are our 5-year employees. Let's give them a round of applause. Now you can sit. Now for our 10-year employees. Carolyn Bishop, Domestic Relations. Carolyn. Georgia Haynes, CSCD. J.B. Hendrick, District Attorney's Office. Jennifer Hicks, Juvenile Services. Philip Morris, District Attorney's Office. Marie Perez, JP, Precinct 6. And Keith Shepard, Sheriff Confinement. These are our 10-year employees. Now for our 15-year, Jessica Bouchard, Domestic Relations. Rhonda Del Cambry, Juvenile Services.
Very good.
Well, it'll get worse, I'm sure. Let's see, that's what I thought. It was close. I knew it's Del Cambray? Okay. Keith Hughes, Information Technology. Jimmy McDonald, Medical Examiner. Deborah Sloan, CSCD. Dana Victorson, Juvenile Services. These are our 15-year employees. And for our 20-plus year, we recognize them. We give them a call, but we do it on an individual basis. And I get a chance to talk with each one of them. Our first this year, or this month, is for 20 years, is Anita Colbert from the Public Health for 20 years. There she is. She started in public health, I guess, during a measles outbreak as a traveling nurse, and is still in that same area of immunizations. They're now doing 20,000 per year, and they did 6,000 in the month of August. And that's, I guess, as you're getting ready to go, everybody go back to school. And when I asked her about the more memorable moment, she said she got the first public health vehicle. That in time that she had also been there, that over the 20 years that she's been there, that there's really not been any other, she came in during the measles, but there's not been any other major outbreaks. And I think it really speaks to the problem. We've got 2 folks here who started out in that particular area today. And, I think it speaks very highly for our public health and our public health department for all that they do to make sure that we don't have outbreaks. When I asked her what she liked most, it was the stability of a county job, the openness of her job, the ability to have the flexibility to do the job the way she feels like it will work best, and the chance to speak to civic groups about public health and to be able to go around and talk with them and explain kind of what they do. When I asked her if anything else that she wanted me to mention, we spent a whole lot of time talking about her grandkids, and I could tell that she really enjoyed the grandkids and really had time. In fact, I think one of them was asking you to do something in the background as we were talking, as I recall. She's been a nurse since 1971, had heard of the county job and feels like that it was a job that was just made for her. She loves her job and really could not quit talking about it. So we appreciate very much, Anita, your 20 years of service to Tarrant County. Next is Raina Irwin. She's District Clerk's 324th District Court. When I asked her about her time with the county, she said she started off in records management in the microfilming area, then to the district clerk's office in the records department, and is now the lead clerk for the 324th District Court. When I asked her about our more memorable moments, she said, I'll have to tell you that the thing that I enjoy the most during the year is the National Adoption Day, and she had just at that time finished her 9th National Adoption Day. She said, you know, working in the family court, we don't sometimes get to see a whole lot of happy stuff. And she said those National Adoption Days are just things that really stick with her. When I asked her what she liked most, it was the people. She said, I love the folks that I get to work with. They've kind of become my best friends. And she said, I really enjoy interacting with the public and with the attorneys. When I asked her if there was anything else, she said one advantage of having this December anniversary was that she got to hear the choir when she'd come in for for her celebrations. She met her husband while working at the county. He's in the IT area, and I'm assuming that since you just looked down at this gentleman, that that's your husband. So stand up. Thank you for being a part of this also. Together, they have over 26 years with the county. So thank both of you. Well, it's going on 45. Did I say 26? Well, I meant 46. Well, when you said 25, I said, why is she telling me 25? It's really 46. And then it's just one of those days. But anyway, Raina, thank you very much for your 20 years of service and your husband for his 25. Next is Fran Kirkley, Public Health. Now, Fran, you actually started out at Harris Hospital, and then she started in Public Health, and she also was in the immunization nurse at Alta Mesa, then was the vaccine for, I guess headed up the vaccine. I'm going to go out here and get a drink, and then I'll be back. She was the children's coordinator for vaccines. For 5 or 6 years, she was basically the immunization health registry for the last 5 or 6 years. When I asked her about her more memorable moments, it was the measles outbreak in 1990, which is when you came, and I'm assuming you came almost at the same time as Anita.
Came the same day.
Came the same day. She said, I also remember the Hurricane Katrina and then last year's H1N1. When I asked her what she liked most, it was knowing that she was doing something that helped someone else and the ability to serve the citizens of Tarrant County. She said there's been a lot of changes in the department. There's a whole lot more accountability and a whole lot more training than when she first started. Fran, thank you very much for your 20 years of service. Next is Floyd Owens from the Sheriff's Department. There he is. 20 years and started off at the Sheriff's Office in Cold Springs and then moved to the Correction Center in Booking, was promoted to sergeant while there, then worked in the jail, then also in the Booking in the 911 dispatch area, has worked a time in the courts, and now is in criminal warrants. When I asked him about his more memorable moments, he said, you know, his entire career. He said, I've looked back on it, and it's something that I've enjoyed and really loved doing. He said, I really enjoy the training and the opportunities that the Sheriff's Department has given him, the ability to advance, and then the professionalism and the integrity of the folks that he's had an opportunity to work with over the years. When I asked him if there was anything else, he said, you know, I hope I'm going to be here for quite a few more years to go. He said it's been a great place to work with plenty of opportunities to advance. And Floyd, I tell you what, we appreciate very much the 20 years you've given to Tarrant County. Next is Stephen Waters. Was he able to make it? He didn't think he was going to be able to make it today. He's in the confinement area with the Sheriff's Department and is celebrating 20 years. So if you see him, congratulate him for his time with Tarrant County. Now, the next also wasn't sure he was going to be able to make it. Chip Wilkerson. Is Chip here? No, that's not Chip coming in. That's Robert Early. Early is late again. Next time you'll sneak in on the side as opposed to coming right in the middle of. No, do think if you see Chip, he has been in the district attorney's office for 20 years. He's in the appellate section and has been there for the entire 20 years that he's been with us. So be sure and congratulate him if you see him today. Next is Sally Williams, the Sheriff's Department in the Warrants area. Has been there for 20 years. Started off at the bond desk and then went to the jail and then from there into the Warrants Division. When I asked her about her more memorable moment, she said, the 20 years has streamed by, it's just kind of a blur. It has gone by so quick. And I think many of us recognize that blur. This past year was that blur. And so, time seems to be going by faster and faster. When I asked Sally what she liked most, she said, it really is the people. She said it's the opportunity to learn new jobs and really the working conditions. She said, it's the time has gone by fast, but this has just been a great place to work. And Sally, we appreciate very much the 20 years you've given us. Next is Brian Bursey with Facilities Management. There he is. Spent 25 years with the county. Started in the facilities at the convention center, and then moved to the new corrections center when it was opened, and has been there ever since. When I asked him what he liked most, he indicated that it was the people that he's had a chance to work with over the years, and then the stability of the job and the benefits that the county offers. He said, really, as I look back over it, it's been a great place to work. And Brian, we appreciate very much the 25 years you've given us. Next is Wendy Curtis with Juvenile Services. There's Wendy, 25 years. Started when she was, I'm going to tell on you right here. Started when she was 18 in elections. Has served as an election programmer, then went to Juvenile Services in 1994 as a part of the secretarial pool, then became Carrie's executive secretary and is now Randy's. When I asked her what she liked most, it was, again, the stability and the people. She said, it really is a great place to work with a lot of opportunities. In fact, right now she is going to UTA and is working to become a social worker. So, Wendy, we appreciate very much the 25 years you've given us, and we hope you'll give us another 25. Next is Tracy Pelly, Facilities Management, 25 years. It was like pulling teeth to get information out of her. She started off in Public Works after college. It was a pretty bad economy at that point in time. She graduated in May, and in December she said she had an uncle who knew some folks at the county, and it kept telling her what a great place it would be to work. So she came and interviewed with Jim Stewart and started as an intern. And I asked her, I said, well, when did you go from intern to full-time? And she says, well, I'm not really sure. She said, one thing just kind of led to another. She said when she remembered that when I said, well, you worked under, I guess, Gary Kirby. She said, yeah, in fact, when Gary Kirby came on board was the week I had my daughter. And so immediately upon, so she said, I never forgot when Gary Kirby came to the county. She is now the Assistant Director of Construction Services. When I asked her about her more memorable moment, she said as she looked back, it was a lot of the buildings that she's had a chance to work on. And I guess she's probably worked on just about every one of our sub-courthouses, as well as many other buildings that the county has had. When I asked her what she liked most, it was being involved with a project from really the conception all the way into the move-in and to the punch list of getting a particular project finished. She said it was also being able to be out in the county and working with folks as they really they saw their dreams become a reality. And she said it was also the opportunities of being with the county. Tracy, we appreciate very much the 25 years you've given us. Next is Jerry Robinson, Constable, Precinct 2, 25 years. There's Jerry. Started out in the Constable's office in Precinct 7 and was hired, he said, I remember it well, it was the day after Christmas. After 12 years, he moved over to Precinct 2. When I asked him about the more memorable moments, he said when he came aboard, everything was written in a big ledger book regarding the services that they did. And then he said another memorable moment was when we moved into the new facility in Arlington, and what a difference he said that made. When I asked him what he liked most, it was the benefits, both retirement and health. He said, I really enjoy being in law enforcement and enjoyed the schedule that he's had over the years. He said, I've worked under 4 different constables, and that time has really flown by these past 25 years. Jerry, we appreciate very much the 25 years you've been. Next is Randy Walker, County Criminal Court number 8. He wasn't sure he was going to be able to make it, and I don't see him. So let's congratulate him for 25 years if you see him today or this week. Next is Robin Worthy. Robin started in human resources as a personnel generalist, which meant she did, well, she explained it, she said, I did a little bit of everything. And then she became the compensation coordinator and is now the assistant director since 2007. When I asked her about the most memorable moment, she said it was the passing of Gerald, and she said that's just, I think, surprised us all, and it was quite a shock to all of us. She said also the SAP project, and then the shooting in the JP's office. When I asked her what she liked most about the county, it was the sense of community and family. She said it's been a great place to work, and the benefits have been super. She said, when I started, we didn't have computers. We didn't even have the little PCs. And she said it's been quite a difference to watch the exchange. And Robin, I know you sent me a little follow-up, and I forgot to add that follow-up to the. So do you want to? Okay, we'll just leave it at thanking you very, very much for the 25 years you've given to Tarrant County. I'm going to probably pay for that one. Last is Rick Clayton, the District Attorney's Office for 30 years. Started out in the Sheriff's Office as a patrol deputy, then moved to become a fugitive detective. A fugitive detective, not a fugitive. I got you. Then to the Medical Examiner's Office as an investigator for 11 years, and then the DA's office as an investigator for 11 years. He came to work in 77, and he said, I left in 79, and he said, then I came back in 1980, and he said, it didn't take me long after I left to realize that the county is where I wanted to be. And so he said an opportunity came, and I was able to get back. He said he was so glad that he had a chance to come back. And in fact, in his most memorable moment, he said, leaving then realizing how glad he was to have an opportunity to come back. He was also involved with the investigation surrounding the Branch Davidian while he was in the EMA's medical examiner's office. When I asked him what he liked most, it said it was, it really was a great place to work. He said, I've had the ability to go all around the country. There's been a great variety in my job. He said, I really enjoy the people I've had a chance to work with, the county employees. And he said, these folks are very, very loyal and hardworking employees in every place that I've had a chance to work. He said the time has just really flown by, and he said, I come to work every day just loving what I'm doing. Rick, we appreciate very much the 30 years you've given to Tarrant County. We have refreshments in 504C. If you don't have them, if there's not any, I noticed that Wilder came in late, so I'm doubtful as to whether there's anything left on this side of the room. In fact, is he out there now? Yeah, see, what did I tell you? And but there will be pictures and refreshments in the back. So again, that's 570 years worth of service to Tarrant County. Let's give them a big round of applause.
What an impact. We missed it. Wow. We left with it. Yeah. Show our great video. We've got some great videos. Missed that opportunity to share. But I hope we have a lecture. Bring joy to the crowd.
Well, you'll still see it's on streaming video. Everybody in the county can see it.
It was your call, is what I heard.
Switched it to me. I was waiting until it was beginning. I wasn't waiting. Chicken.
I'll now call on Mr. Manius for agenda announcements. Thought I forgot about you, didn't you?
No. Your Honor, we do not have any agenda announcements at this time.
And court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of December the 7th.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Please note that Commissioner Van Ravensway is not present at this time. Mr. Mayor, we have before you the consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Again, please note that Commissioner Van Ravensway is not present.
Members of the court, we go through the administrator section. On item number 1, we're requesting that the court approve an order prohibiting the outside burning in the unincorporated areas for a period of 90 days and for declaration of disaster for Tarrant County as it relates to this activity.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Does this have anything to do with fireworks?
No, it does not.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, a week ago to item number 2, we're requesting that the court approve a revised Appendix 1, which is fees for service, to the letter of agreement with KPMG for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2010 annual financial audit.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, a week ago to item number 3, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court renew the delinquent tax collection contract with Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson for a 5-year period ending December 31st, 2015. Might also advise that we have had discussions with the tax assessor collector, and Ms. Price supports this action.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Please note that Commissioner Fickus was not present for that vote.
Members of the court, a week ago to item number 4, we're requesting that the court accept the FY 2009 Legislative Pre-Mitigation Disaster Grant Program from the Texas Department of Public Safety for Tarrant County Individual Safe Room Construction Rebate Project with a federal share award of $540,000.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, a week ago to item number 5, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court authorize the county judge to sign an attached banking letter requested by United Healthcare, and also authorize the county auditor to transfer funds to the new account, which is owned by United Healthcare, with an advance of $139,333, and also to replenish this account on a daily basis as requested by United Healthcare based on claims paid.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, on items 6 and 7, Ms. McMillan is going to make that presentation.
Judge, Commissioners, the first item is an approval of amendment number 1 to the tax abatement agreement with Deloitte LLP. In April of 2008, Tarrant County approved participation with the town of Westlake in a tax abatement for Deloitte LLP for the construction of a new training center and corporate hotel, what we call Deloitte University or Deloitte U. Just as a recap, the abatement was a 75% abatement maximum for 10 years, and it was for the construction of a 750,000 square foot facility, a minimum of $145 million in construction costs for real property improvements and $30 million for personal property improvements. Completion date was to be December 31st of 2010. As a result of the downturn in the economy, the construction timing for the Deloitte facility has been slowed slightly. However, they are under construction, and they're anticipating to be completed in May of 2011 with opening, being fully operational around September of 2011. The final design of the building yielded approximately 33,000 square feet less for a final building size of 717,000 square feet as opposed to the 750,000 square feet that was called for in the actual abatement agreement. However, the number of rooms and the internal facilities are all still the same as was originally planned. Also in the agreement, Deloitte was required to have 100 full-time personnel on the facility. At that time, they told us they were going to have a contractor that was going to operate the actual facility itself, the hospitality portion, but that operator and the terms of those agreements with the operator was not known at that time. Since then, Deloitte has contracted with an operator, and it looks that they will have approximately 450 employees on the site. But also, Deloitte has realized that they will actually only have 49 full-time employees that will probably be actually Deloitte employees, and instead, the operator itself will have approximately 51 positions that are upper management, director, and supervisor positions. So they are asking us to modify the agreement to allow for a combination of Deloitte and the operator jobs to reach this 100-job requirement. Staff has prepared the amendment that you have before you, and it makes the changes to the facility size down to the 717,000 square feet, and it changes the completion date required under the agreement to December 31st, 2011. Also, it allows for a combination of Deloitte and the contracted operator positions to fulfill the 100 jobs. However, it does stipulate that Deloitte must employ a minimum of 45 jobs on the location, and that all jobs' annual salary must have an average annual salary of $75,000. This was the actual average annual salary that was provided for in the original abatement application, so that stays the same.
So you're saying 100 jobs, I mean, there'll be 100.
There'll be 100 jobs. There'll be a combination, though, of upper management jobs that are hired by the contractor, and then also Deloitte jobs, a minimum of which would be 45.
Are the contractors' jobs permanent jobs?
Yes, and those jobs will be required, they will have benefits, those jobs. And a majority...
Comparable benefits?
Comparable benefits, and they'll provide that information. And in the agreement, we have, amendment, we have asked for them to provide us a copy of the contract with the contractor. There is some concern by Deloitte that there's proprietary information in that contract, so we have said that they will be allowed to redact any information that is proprietary and that's not necessarily needed for us to view and assess the employment portion of that contract. The reduction, in terms of this and making these changes, what we have also done is to remove one of the avenues they had for additional or bonus abatement, which was an extra 10% that could be allowed for additional jobs. We have removed that from the agreement, and thus we've reduced the amount of additional abatement they can get from 20% to 10%. And thus the overall abatement maximum is now reduced from 75 to 65%. So in terms of what you have before you is an amendment then that provides for a reduction in the minimum square footage from the 750,000 to 717,000 square feet. It extends the completion deadline from December of 2010 to 2011. And it modifies the minimum job requirements to allow for a combination of Deloitte and facility operator positions. And it reduces the maximum abatement percentage from 75% to 65%. This will provide approximately, based on the amount of $175 million in investment that we're predicting that they'll make on the site, it'll provide approximately $46,000 more in revenue based on that 10% reduction annually. Before I ask for action on this, I'm going to see, I have Scott Grisham and another representative from Deloitte here and see if they have anything they want to say. Yeah? Okay. So
I'd just like the DA's office to bless this redacted document as containing enough information to make sure that we're getting what we need.
Well, we haven't.
I know you haven't seen it.
Hadn't
yet.
seen it.
I want you to see it.
Yeah, well, I assume that what we'll have not redacted are the employees and their salaries and the medical benefits part. I assume the part that they don't want us to see, and frankly we don't need to see, is what consideration is going back and forth between Deloitte and the company, and then what the company is doing for Deloitte. I mean, all those other things that have nothing to do with the deal.
I just want to make sure that we get what we need to make the judgments that we need to make.
Well, right now, the way I understand the contract, it says that we get a copy of the contract, of this amendment. So we're in good shape the way it's worded.
All right.
Commissioner Figgis?
Yeah, Lisa has some questions, and you and I have talked about this probably 6-8 weeks ago, and on a couple of occasions. And I, have the way it was laid out, I didn't have any problems with it, but I want a couple things just for clarification. Their original abatement required that they use 25% of their contractors to be Tarrant County based. Is that being met, as far as you know?
No, that still stays the same.
Okay. Also, their DBE contractors were to be 15?
Correct.
And
That stays the same.
and their Tarrant County employees that they hire were to be 35%?
Correct.
Is that still correct?
Well, the minimum is 25%. They actually get a bonus if they hire above 35%.
Okay.
So
move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I guess one other question. When we originally started this, I think we weren't sure exactly who they were going to be contracting with for the operationals. But one of the concerns I believe we had was to make sure that all of the employees had benefits, that we were not bringing in a management organization that would then end up hiring a bunch of folks and not be providing health insurance, and those folks would then end up in our, potentially at JPS for.
Right, and one of the reasons we did not grant hospital district tax abatements was because of that reason, because we couldn't guarantee that all of the jobs of the operator would be providing health care benefits. However, the 100 jobs are required to have health care benefits, and they will, even the ones owned by that are employed by the operator. And the operator has been contracted, and it is Benchmark, and they are going to provide health care benefits, we are told, for a majority of the employees, except probably some of the part-time employees. But a majority of that 400 to 450 employees will have health care benefits. But that was one of the considerations we took at the very beginning and did not grant the hospital district.
So the
tax
only
abatement.
employees who will not be receiving health benefits will either be part-time or.
Will be the contractors that are not part of that 100 jobs. And a majority of those will have health care benefits, but they're not required to. And actually, we.
Just a second.
Okay.
Question. Everybody who is an employee of the
Deloitte.
contractor who is either not part-time, if they're not part-time, then they'll have health benefits. If they are a contractor to either one of those, they may not, but everybody full-time with, and I saw you shake your head up and down, so I'm assuming that, so I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure that we weren't.
And I will say that part of the agreement was in order to incentivize that contractor to provide health care benefits, one of the 5% bonus abatement measures was to have that contractor have more than 51% of its positions providing health care benefits. So that was part of that. So we will be getting that information because they're going to try to meet that extra bonus abatement also.
Are I think you said 451 for contractors, are most of those employees, what percentage of them would be part-time employees? I know we're going to get you out. We're going to ask enough questions to get you out of your seat.
Hello, thank you. My name is Jeff Totten. I'm the Chief Operations Officer for Deloitte University. At this point in time, the mass hiring won't occur until a couple months before the facility opens up. But right now, out of approximately 450 positions, they anticipate 350 of those will be full-time with full employee benefits.
Right.
And it probably will go north of there, but right now that's a conservative estimate.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Okay. Can I address one other question?
Sure.
Because I want to make sure I address the DA's question. The actual management agreement right now does not specifically address any issues related to a requirement for the contractor to, obviously they have to hire employees to run the facility, but there's no details in there about, health benefits or salary information in the actual management agreement itself.
Okay.
So, any redaction wouldn't have that information in it anyway.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Any other questions?
Yes.
Thanks, Jeff.
Please. I'd like to go back to Commissioner Fickus's question.
Yes.
As I understood, what he asked was, are these various goals being met? The MWBE goal, the Tarrant County contracting goal, the Tarrant County employment goal. And what we got as an answer is, yes, those are still in the contract.
Right.
That doesn't answer the question.
Right. Right now, between both Deloitte and for our outside contractor, we've hired on and identified maybe 20 or 25 positions that people are actually, working full-time on the project. So there's a vast majority of the people who still have to be hired. So I can't really answer the question in terms of whether...
That doesn't answer the question either because it relates to construction activity.
Got it. But the employment side, we cannot answer until we hire the employees. On the construction side, yes, we are meeting all of the DBE requirements in terms of the construction using local providers, and there's other provisions that will continue on once we get into operations of using local providers.
That's what I needed to hear.
Yes, we're going to be there. So, but the employment and the ongoing, we're obviously not there just yet.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay? Thank you.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. The next item is an approval of the termination of the 2001 and 2006 National Semiconductor Tax Abatement Agreements. A long-term fixture, probably as long as Commissioner has been on this Commissioner's Court, in Arlington, National Semiconductor, unfortunately, is closing its doors. Corporate headquarters has made a decision to close the Arlington plant. And because NSC has terminated the use of the premises for manufacturing of semiconductor wafers, they are now in breach of the 2 tax abatement agreements that are in effect at this time. The City of Arlington and Tarrant County have provided them the notice of breach and default, and the company has agreed to repay the taxes that have been previously abated under the 2 agreements. After the approval of this termination agreement, it will provide for the repayment of a total of $364,279.31. A little over $195,000 of that is in Tarrant County taxes, and $169,000 is in hospital district taxes. So we're asking Commissioners Court today to approve the agreement that terminates both of these tax abatement agreements and approve the resolution and authorize the county judge to sign them.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just wanted to say we are going to miss them as a corporate citizen. They have been very generous to Tarrant County, and they were a high wage-paying employer, and it is a significant loss, especially for Precinct 2.
I would echo, I've had a chance to meet several times, and we...
Yeah, Ben Walker from National is here, and he's worked with us to finalize this and get everything wrapped up on the national program.
Ben, thank you very much for, again, you have been very good county and corporate partners, and we appreciate that.
I would just like to make one comment. National Semiconductor.
Please come to the podium, sir.
It's an unfortunate situation that the corporation has moved in this direction, but I mean, J.D. and Glenn and Marty, when we presented you with these packages to support our corporation, you guys were more than willing to help us. And so y'all have done all that you could to make us successful, and we're very appreciative of that. And I can remember sitting in your office, Glenn, and saying, you know, if we don't get this kind of abatement agreement, we may not be successful. And you said, well, if you're not successful, then what are you going to do? And I said, well, we'll pay the money back. And so that's what we do. But we do appreciate the way that this court supports the business community.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Members of the Court, a week ago to item 8 under the Administrator section, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve a contract supplement with Nizam Pirwani, MD, for operation of the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office in order to provide funds for the 3% one-time performance payments to the Professional Association employees comparable to other county employees.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the Court, on item number 9, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve the indemnification of Judge Tom Corbin, Precinct 7 JP, in the amount of $215. This action is going to be based on the following findings of the Commissioners Court: that the loss was incurred while in the course and scope of performance of Judge Corbin's duties under existing law, that the loss was not a result of negligence by Judge Corbin, that the loss was not the result of any criminal action by Judge Corbin, and that Judge Corbin has fully cooperated with any and all efforts to recoup this particular loss. The loss itself was due to minor accounting errors and the receipt of a $100 counterfeit bill.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, if we could go to item number 10. This is similar to item number 9. We're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve the indemnification of Judge Sidney Thompson, Precinct 8, Justice of the Peace, in the amount of $644.70. This action is based on the following findings of the Commissioners Court: that the loss was not incurred while in the course and scope of performance of Judge Thompson's duties under existing law, that the loss was not the result of negligence by Judge Thompson, that the loss was not the result of any criminal activity or action by Judge Thompson, and that Judge Thompson has fully cooperated with any and all efforts to recoup the loss. This particular amount is an accumulation of over 12 years, and it was due to the result of minor accounting errors.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Snyder?
After a great deal of discussion, the Risk Management Board is recommending the payment of claim to Steve Rayburn in the amount of the listed on your agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
I'm assuming you're going to go after, you already worked this out with Ms. Glenn?
Yes, we did. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have several items for the court this morning. The first item, we're asking the court to receive and file the personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Second item, we're asking the court to approve an out-of-pay class extension for the county administrator's office as outlined in your court communique.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
For item number 3, we're asking the court to approve a waiver of terminal benefits for the county clerk's office. The cost to the general fund, if approved, is approximately $9,132, excluding fringe benefits.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 4, we're asking the court to approve a waiver of terminal benefits for Precinct 2. If approved, the cost to the Road and Bridge Fund will be approximately $11,863.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 5, we're asking the court to approve amendment number 7 to the Administrative Services Agreement between MHN Services and Tarrant County. The rates for 2011 will remain the same, and we're estimating plan year cost in 2011 to be approximately $184,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our sixth and final item, we're asking the court to approve amendment number 8 to the Senior Supplement Plan Group Health Insurance Policy, and amendment number 5 to the Medicare Advantage Plan Group Health Services Agreement with Pacific Care. These amendments set forth the rates for plan year 2011. Both plans are fully insured plans, and if the court recalls, these are the plans that our retirees who are over 65 elect. The fiscal impact we're estimating to be approximately $2.7 million.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Turner isn't here. Is it Ms. Willis? Welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Hey, Lynn.
Good morning. Good morning. We have, the department has 2 items on the agenda this morning. The first is a request for your approval for an MOU with Azle Avenue Baptist Church to lease space for our neighborhood conference committee program.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Our second item is a request for your approval for the Juvenile Department to contract with the Mental Health Connection to provide $20,000 in funding for support of social marketing efforts connected with the network of care.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Don't y'all have any juveniles out there that can hook you up with that social marketing piece?
I suspect we do.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Before I leave the microphone, Judge Whitley, with your indulgence, I would like to express a public word of appreciation on behalf of the Department for Commissioner Van Ravensway's leadership for many issues of concern to the Juvenile Department and support for programs that have benefited children and youth. And we're very grateful for your leadership in past issues and look forward to working with you in new ways in the future. Thank you very much.
Ms. Brewer. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have one item for your approval this morning, and this is interim financing for fiscal year 2011. These are grants for STD, HIV prevention, HIV/AIDS surveillance, and Ryan White Part C. And all of our interim funding that we've asked for in the past has come in.
Move for approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'm a little bit more nervous about this interim financing than about other pieces because there are so many changes in the Congress that none of this programmatic funding is assured.
We have not heard anything to make us nervous about it at this point. And I think our program, I understand what you're saying, but I think our program people are pretty close in contact with them, and we haven't been given any reason to be concerned about it.
So we're talking about a total of about $290,000, $295,000?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's for a 60-day period, and it'll carry us to that. That way we'll at least get some indication from Congress if this is going to move forward or not. And if it's not going to move forward, then our exposure is this almost $300,000.
Any other questions? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Beecham, purchasing.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
We have 5 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for our bid number 2011-016, signing a contract for mattress materials for the Sheriff's Department. Recommendation will be toward a per enterprise basis, awarding to the primary and secondary vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 2 is another bid award recommendation for bid number 2011-017. This is our annual contract for automotive, truck, and equipment tires and tubes. Recommendation will be toward a per enterprise basis, again awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors as shown in the court communique. We did receive 2 bids that posed problems. A bid received from Industrial Tire, DFW, did not sign their bid document. We would recommend rejection of that particular bid. And a bid also was received from a company called Tire Center Incorporated. Not only did they not meet specifications, but they failed to include the references as required.
Move approval of all of the above.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 3 is another bid award recommendation for bid number 2011-023. This is our semi-annual contract for aggregate road surfacing treatment. Recommendation will be toward a per enterprise basis, selecting as our primary vendor TXI, or as our secondary vendor Vulcan Material.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our number 4 item is an item in regards to RFP number 2010-056. This is an annual contract for fleet fuel card and management services. Our recommendation would be to exercise the first option for renewal, the same firm, fixed pricing.
Move for approval.
We don't have a second.
Move that we request this be put back out for bids.
Second.
Okay, so first off, we're basically taking no action on item number 4, and in effect, we are, as opposed to item number 4, we're making a motion to not to exercise our first option for renewal, but to go out for a new RFP on this particular deal.
That's correct.
Any discussion?
Yes, I did request an extension last week because I'd not seen the documentation, and after reading it, I do not understand what the concern is over what this bid was, and our acceptance of it had been unanimous. It has not had a problem. I read our justification from our purchasing department for why they were in the position that they were taking. I don't understand what the need is to go back out for bid at this point in time.
I'll let my motion stand.
Any other questions or discussion? Please vote. 4-1.
Our last item, we're asking the Commissioners Court to approve revisions to our Tarrant County Purchasing Policies and Procedures Manual. As you all know, we've always been very transparent in our business dealings with the court. We've brought for the last 15 years contracts that didn't require court approval. We've done that very simply to be transparent, to let other entities have the opportunity to piggyback off our particular documents, our bids. We are now suggesting that we bring anything above the state bid ceiling amount of $50,000, any state contract purchases above $50,000, which the law does not require, any DIR contracts, and any interlocal agreement purchases that we might make, which again are not required by law to bring to Commissioners Court. It closes the circle. You will see everything from our department that's an expenditure of over $50,000.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. So even if we're signing interlocals with other entities, whether it be other counties, other cities, other state, whatever the interlocal will be, we'll see it come before us.
Yes, sir.
And go through that process.
We've always, we've talked about this, and I know you wondered and remember and forget, as we all do, but we think it's important for us to be transparent. We want the court to see what we're doing. We want you to see how we're spending our money, whether it's $10,000, $15,000, and now everything that's a DIR, a state contract, or an interlocal purchase. It just makes the circle complete, and we want to do that and have pretty much done that for the last 15 years. It just closes the loop.
Jack, if we go out for a bid on a particular item or a particular service, maybe not so much service as item, and we get all of our bids back in, and then we check and find that Fort Worth or that Harris County or that somebody else has actually got a better contract than we have in our bids, is there anything that precludes us from rejecting the bids that we've gotten and going with one of those other contracts?
No, not at all.
Do we, from time to time, when we get a major bid in like that, and do we go around and check with some of these other? I know that there are a tremendous number of cities and counties that piggyback on our bids, but do we, from time to time, go around and check and see if someone else may have a better bid on some of our major expenditures.
Yes, sir. That's done pretty much every time. I can't say every time, but for the most part, 98% of the time. What's happened over the years, as you know, we've been very successful with our cooperative purchasing arrangement. We have close to 400 entities. We can go back to the bid we just did on fuel services.
How does that compare in size to other cooperative purchasing groups in Texas?
We heard them, and that was not the original intent. The original intent 15 years ago was for us to take care of all the 41 entities within Tarrant County.
Are we the largest, the second largest?
No, not hardly.
The fourth largest, the 10th largest?
We've never compared size-wise. The buy boards, the TCPNs, they charge the vendors money to participate. We feel like that the process we have is the purest form of cooperative purchasing in that we get the lowest possible prices. A lot of times the TCPN and the buy board people will actually steer people towards Tarrant County's cooperative because we have the best pricing. But we've added no personnel. Everything is done electronically. We get calls all the time, and it's certainly taken care of the 41 entities in Tarrant County and a whole bunch of other folks in the state of Texas. But we do check and answer. We check 98% of the time on all major purchases.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Any, yes, Commissioner Johnson, I believe you have an item on the agenda.
Oh, yes, I do, and that would be, I guess, an interlocal agreement. No. No?
Interlocal, but we're just, you're informing the court that, and authorizing you to work on roads in a cemetery that has a marker that is more than
Historical cemetery.
Yeah, it has
The one on the hill up here.
Yeah, it's definitely got
right
one.
above the river.
50 years? Okay, yeah, it's got one.
So I ask for approval for Precinct 4 to do grading the roads inside the Oakwood Cemetery.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I believe there is a state law that allows that to happen.
That is true.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Van Ravensway?
Yes, move approval for item 8N, 2A, and B. This is an interlocal agreement with Grand Prairie, and it has come about in a very circuitous way. About 20 years ago, one of the first things that I did after I took office was to bring a joint agreement between the City of Grand Prairie, the City of Arlington, and Tarrant County to address the intersection of Duncan Perry Road, or address an intersection of Duncan Perry Road out in the Great Southwest area. And for all intents and purposes, that was supposed to have concluded this roadway that's in Grand Prairie and adjacent to the City of Arlington. And there is still a remaining undevelopable part, for lack of a better word, where there's a forest of trees. And that will come up in the future to try to get that resolved between the City of Grand Prairie and Tarrant County. Grand Prairie did annex previous portions, and the thought was that we had completed it. Upon investigation, they did not file their paperwork with the county, and even after examining that paperwork, there's still a very small portion of that roadway that wasn't annexed by Grand Prairie. So the agreement has been that Grand Prairie would annex this part of the road and that we would work with them to overlay or give them the amount of the work to be done up to a certain amount that our guys had taken the estimate for the cost of the construction. This will continue to come up if we don't monitor this and watch and make sure that this paper is filed from the City of Grand Prairie. And so I'm telling you now, it'll be back in 20 years if you guys don't follow up with it and make sure that Grand Prairie follows through at this point in time.
in 20 years.
Well, how much-
Everybody here to remember it.
How much is, well, somebody might, how much is that?
It's about $68,000.
How much?
68.
No, it won't be me, Commissioner. Somebody might.
So you're proposing to finish this section of
We're
road?
hopeful that this actually finishes it. No one in Grand Prairie remembers what happened before. And in going back to reconstruct, there was a typo between an H and a K. Avenue H and Avenue K would have made the difference on how it was completed. So it's one of those things that was weird. It happened, and now we're trying to clean it up, and Renee is going to be watching it and working with it, but I'm encouraging you guys to be aware that this came up 20 years later, and it'll probably come back up again if we don't follow through.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
No, you need a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. No further discussion, please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Appointments. There being none, then we'll move on to the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. And then we're going to go back and visit bonds.
Thank you.
Motion passes unanimously.
Good afternoon. We do have two bonds for receiving and filing today. Commissioner Johnson will be abstaining. These are two bonds for Commissioner Johnson that have already been duly approved by the county judge, and therefore the motion needs to be to receive and file the official bond for J.D. Johnson as County Commissioner of Precinct 4, and to receive and file the official bond for J.D. Johnson as ex officio Road Commissioner for Precinct 4.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously with Commissioner Johnson abstention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Briefing items, Mr. Mannion?
Thank you, Your Honor. We have one item to bring to the court this morning. This is the monthly update from the Tarrant County Hospital District. The late-coming Mr. Early is here to address the court.
Well, while Mr. Early is approaching in a slow manner, we might have Mr. Duff in the back. I think there's a couple of videos that Mr. Duff was wanting to, is he awake back there? These are at the request of, I believe, Commissioner Fickus and Commissioner Johnson.
It wasn't my idea, but I'm following up on what he does.
Show
They're coming.
This is their Christmas greetings, I believe.
Yeah.
We have one of you too. So. We have one of you too.
I'm not sure.
No.
Oh, here we go.
This could be trouble. Don't know this one's been seen.
didn't want you to miss an opportunity to see our, I can tell you're kind of awestruck too.
A talented group of people, both those who made it and those who are dancing in it. Commissioners, you did a wonderful job. Judge and Commissioners, thank you all very much. I did want to say a couple things. First of all, Commissioner Van Ravensway, thank you for your years of service. I think that as an elected official, the amount of times that you have to spend away from family, the times that you have to go to various things that are difficult on a Saturday afternoon, all the time voting on hard decisions, and all the things that you and your colleagues go through are oftentimes not known by the public and not understood by the public. So my congratulations for your numerous years of service to Tarrant County, and thank you for your working closely with the Tarrant County Hospital District and your appointments over the years and your efforts to make us a better hospital district. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your kind comments.
You're
It's
more
been
than-
my privilege.
More than welcome. The other thing is I'd like to personally thank you, Judge, and the commissioners for allowing me to come and present once a month. I've done this now for a year and a half, and it's been very helpful to me, and I think it's helpful to the public. I thank you for tolerating my stories, and I thank the public for allowing me to be up here and tolerating my comments, and obviously tolerating my tardiness today. But I'm presenting now, so I wanted to go through a few things with you. Let you also know that one of the things that happened at the hospital district that did get some television air, and my thanks to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, which reported this, is you all as a Commissioners Court and we as an administration took the effort to make JPS a Level 1 trauma center. The district had talked about it for 15 years, and that's all it did was talk about it. It didn't choose to become one. We became one last January, and we were selected by the Texas Department of State Health Services to be recognized as a award winner of an Outstanding Achievement Award for our Level 1 Trauma Center. We're the only institution to receive that this year. Just for your knowledge, there are 256 trauma facilities in Texas. There are 183 Level 4s. There are 48 Level 3s. There are 9 Level 1s, and we were the ones selected for the Achievement Award. So that speaks to the folks that are back in that facility providing trauma care right now. And they do a great job, and I couldn't be more proud of them. They are hardworking, and they've saved a lot of lives, and they've made a lot of difference to a lot of people. My goal in my administration was to become a Level 1 trauma center. My second goal is that anytime you or a loved one or anyone else is in a trauma and the EMS unit, be it CareFlight or be it a ground unit, says we're transporting you to JPS, I want that to be a feeling of confidence. I want that family to know at that moment that every possible care is going to be provided to them, and I want them to have confidence in JPS and our trauma unit. We are exceptionally good for the team of clinicians that we have back there. Second thing is that we went through a difficult time in trying to deal with what we did with open heart surgery and how we deal with that. And it made sense to make sure that we did the best that we possibly could do for our patients. I informed you as commissioners of that the whole way, and through that negotiation and through those discussions. On November 30th, we became open for patients to receive elective open heart surgeries. And since November 30th, we have performed 5 open heart surgeries at JPS, and all of them have been exceptionally successful. I've met with the individuals who had their surgeries at JPS. I met with the individual who had his first open heart surgery, the first open heart surgery at JPS. And it was a very successful procedure. And
tell us what an elective open heart surgery is.
Well, the difference between that is not wanting to say, I'm not doing anything on Thursday. I think I'll have a beer and an open heart. What it is there are 2 types of surgeries that you're going to receive in that. We have been performing trauma open hearts when somebody comes in as a trauma open heart, and then these are scheduled surgeries for an open heart. They're not situations where you can say, I think I'll wait a few years, but they are scheduled. So it's rather a scheduled and an unscheduled event more than anything else. So we've been doing well in that, and I'm very appreciative of our cardiac surgeons and our cardiology department, both of which, from a cath standpoint and cardiac surgery, have done an excellent job. Very proud of them for doing what they're doing. So I did want to thank you as commissioners for indulging me. I wanted to thank you for your support of the hospital district, and wanted to show my appreciation to not only you, but your staffs who have dealt with us on a weekly and daily basis, and thank those of you who are in attendance today for putting up with me.
Thank you, Robert. We appreciate everything y'all do, and tell all your folks over there Merry Christmas.
Great. Thank you, Judge. Thank you,
Yes,
Commissioner.
Robert.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Members of the court, that's all we have at this time.
We'll now recess our open session and move into closed session to discuss items exempted under sections 5.5.
To get that birth certificate, to get back, to go to the federal building, to get my passport. No, this is the best thing this is the best they can do. Just tell me where,
Are we on?
where to go.
No, we're not on until himself, please.
Till himself is here.
Well, we can go ahead and go forward. Having returned from our closed session, we'll now address the following matters.
Item number D1, requesting authorization for the county, the DA to file suit on behalf of the county against one Juan Hernandez Jr.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. With regard to item D2, requesting authorization for the county judge to sign this release on behalf of the county, and we will then receive a check in the amount of $9,167.67.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
There being no further business, we will now adjourn.
Turn off the...
In the honor of